Chakas, then 343 Guilty Spark, was an ancient human born on Earth during the Forerunner-Flood War. Having lived his youth on Earth, then known as Erde Tyrene, he inadvertently became involved in the Forerunner schemes due to a Gaius, the Forerunner life shaper, the librarian, had imprinted on him at birth. Although his physical body was eventually killed, his mind survived in the form of the Forerunner Monitor, later known as 343 Guilty Spark. Born in 97,468 BCE, Chakas was a con man and an all-around delinquent before his Gaius led him to an eventuality, meaning born stellar makes eternal lasting. In 97,449 BCE, Born Stellar, a young Forerunner manipular, traveled to Erde Tyrene, later named Earth by current humans, to search for a device called the Organon. This mystical device was thought to hold the locations and secrets of the precursor technology much of the Forerunner domain was based off of. During their time on Earth, the two, accompanied by Chakas' friend Riser, released the Didact from a cryptum placed there millennia before and hid by his wife, the librarian. After releasing the Didact, the group eventually made their way first to Charam Hakor, the capital of ancient humanity, and then to Janjar Kam, the homeworld of the Sanshayum, where they witnessed the first test firing of the original Halo array on their homeworld. After the test firing, Chakas and company were captured by Faber, the master builder, in charge of the construction of the Halo array, and sent to Installation 7, now known as Zeta Halo, so his builders could experiment on them. As the imprisoned group made their way to Installation 7, however, they were caught in the fray between battling Flood and Forerunner fleets. They crash-landed on the ring, and from there, met two individuals he would become very close with. While recovering from injuries sustained during the crash landing, Chakas, Riser, and two new companions, Benevra and Gamelpar, set out from their village on a journey they didn't quite understand. To a limited degree, Gamelpar and Chakas understood that they had carried with them Gaius, a genetic predisposition to follow commands embedded in their DNA by the Forerunners. They realized almost too late that they were being herded, along with many other villages of captured humans on the ring, to the Primordials laboratory. As they came to terms with this knowledge, they spent several days traveling the ring in the opposite direction of where their Gaiuses were guiding them. The group was eventually captured by the rampant Forerunner Ancilla, Mendicant Bias, working in league with the Flood and the Primordial. They had their Gaiuses forcibly removed by a composer and were forced to help the AI stop the ring from colliding with a nearby planet, a safety measure enacted if the ring was compromised. As the group steered the ring towards the planet in a controlled manner, the Didact, Born Stellar makes eternal lasting, who is altered with the imprint of the Didact, arrives with a fleet and combats Mendicant Bias. The Didact is successful in both beating Mendicant Bias and working with Chakas to guide the ring as to allow the planet to pass right through the center. They travel to the greater arc for repairs and to shrink the diameter of the ring from 10,000 kilometers to 7,000 kilometers, the same as the second set of rings we see in the Halo video games. After arriving at the greater arc, Chakas is told that his body sustained too much damage from the composer and was told by the Didact that his mind would be converted as the imprint for a construct, a monitor in fact, that would serve the Didact and be the steward of Installation 04. Nearly 100,000 years pass before he sees another human. You might wonder why he seems so different in Halo Combat Evolved. This is actually due to a safeguard put in place by the Forerunners in order to combat the logic plague whenever possible, which was an infection of sorts from a grave mine of sufficient biomass to infect an artificial intelligence construct. Now 343 Guilty Spark would have his mind compartmentalized, taking on a new personality that degraded over the next 100 millennia. After the events of Halo Combat Evolved, 343 Guilty Spark made his way to a gas mining station above Threshold, a nearby planet that acted as a gravity anchor for Installation 04, where you see him again in Halo 2, the level The Arbiter. Following the events of Halo 2 and Halo 3, 343 Guilty Spark's damaged carapace was recovered from the Ark by the UNSC Rubicon. As the Rubicon was traveling, Guilty Spark took over control of the vessel and crash-landed on a planet. And for the next several years, the damaged mind of 343 Guilty Spark took control of a combat armiger and began making repairs to his new body, his mind, and processing the ancient information now completely unlocked to him while he waited for rescue. It wasn't until Captain Ryan Forge and the Ace of Spades crew arrived to the planet Garanos A, where he was rescued. Following the events of Halo Renegades and Halo Point of Light, Spark and the Ace of Spades crew set out to help him find the Librarian and to access the domain. By the end of Halo Point of Light, Spark leaves the crew of the Ace of Spades and begins his time as a healed new being, neither human nor machine. He is Spark, no longer living to seek answers to the past, but hopeful for the future as caretaker of Bastion, Shield World 0983, built to resemble Earth and acted as the Librarian's laboratory. Like and follow for more Halo lore. Catch you next time.